Hey everyone, I'm Nick from How to Agender. Welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special video for me because this is the New York Fashion Week Fall 2019 recap. What does that mean? That means that I want to create this video for you where you will be up to date about the latest Fashion Week in New York within this video. So I'm going to showcase the big designers, but also a few designers that I think you should know that had very strong collections in New York Fashion Week. There are also a few big designers that disappointed me quite a bit, so I'm going to explain why, of course, as well. If you do not know, Fashion Weeks happen 2 times a year, once in September, October, and once in February and March. So this is the showcase of all the collections where all the designers showcase their latest creations. This time is for fall 2019. It starts in New York for a week, then it goes to London, then Milan, and then Paris to close the fashion month actually. So for each and every week I will do a recap video so you are up to date. Now this is the first time that I'm doing this, so please, if you have any feedback for me, if you miss a designer, if there's a designer that you don't want to be in this video for whatever reason, leave it down in the comments below so we can have a chat about it. If you don't want to miss any future content about the next fashion weeks or about fashion, gender and makeup in general, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and as I've said, comment down below what you thought about it. Even my hair looks good in this video, like what the hell is going on? I do not know. Doesn't look as messy as it always does, but alright. The first designer I want to talk about is Elie Saab. I've been following this brand for quite a few seasons now, and I love the way that it works with deconstructivism, but in a feminine way, with flowy fabrics. A trend alert for this season is obviously the pantsuit. I thought it was me. I thought I was seeing pantsuits everywhere during Fashion Week, but apparently lots of designers are doing it, especially in bright colors, such as this one in yellow, which has a very utilitarian look with all the pockets, which I very much like. But they also did a shocking pink satin version that is such a statement piece from the collection. What I also loved about Elie Saab's new range is the yellow skirt and the white blouse. I thought it was very chic, but yet it had a bit of that utilitarian vibe that the pantsuit had as well. And there's also a blue dress that looked absolutely amazing. Now this show is one that you have to watch on video, in my opinion, because the fabrics are so beautiful and flowy. Every look just really comes to life on video, so if you have some time, definitely check that one out. By the way, I will be talking about these designers from A to Z, so if you are on the Vogue website while watching this video, you can easily follow all of the designers that I'm talking about and maybe check out the whole collection if you're interested. Next up we have Elena Akhmadulina. I have to read it on screen because it's a very difficult name. I haven't heard of her before this fashion week, but what really appealed me about her collection was the fact that she uses foxes and some other animals throughout the whole collection. And I thought it was such a great idea because I've been looking at the collection for a few times now and I keep on seeing different fox references. You have some very small details like the buttons on a pantsuit, but you also have giant appliques on fur coats, which I absolutely adore. And you had these beautiful nude tulle dresses with animal embroideries that are so beautiful. Also this fur coat, I am living for it. I need it right now. Another designer I would love to talk about is Siriano. He obviously won Project Runway quite a few years ago and he really established the brand for himself, which I think is amazing. And he, to me, is the king of inclusiveness. Now that is a word that you're hearing everywhere, both in fashion but also in beauty and in advertising campaigns in general. People keep on raging when a campaign is not inclusive. But you have to understand that some designers just don't want to design for a lot of body types or a lot of ages. You know, they all have their target groups. So that's why I think Christian Siriano does it in such a brilliant way. He really shows that his designs can be worn by both a fuller model and, you know, the regular models that clothes are always being showed on. This collection I loved because it's, Vogue called it Art Deco Futurism, which is kind of spot on because he opened the show with a few very silver Matrix type of looks, especially with the styling of the sunglasses and everything. I was living for that. And then came some more black neutral looks, but still with a very cool edge, especially with the shoes and the whole styling overall. And what really made the show for me was not only the inclusiveness, but also the fact that he closed with some amazing purpley cobalt blue type of dresses that were such statement pieces that they really blew my mind, honestly. Especially when you look at the video of the collection, you can really see it goes from these silver looks to the black looks to those stunning statement-making dresses. So it was really a nice flow in the collection as well. Then another designer I haven't heard of before this fashion week is Kulina Strata. She is all about sustainability, which is another key word for fashion in general nowadays, thank God. We aren't there yet, of course. Fashion is the second most polluting business in the world, so there's still a lot of work. But Kulina Strata to me is a designer that does it in a great way. She admits that her collection is not yet fully sustainable, which I, love as well, but she works with dead stock fabric. She said 75% of her collection was made out of dead stock fabric, and she also collaborated with a company called 4Ocean to create beads made out of ocean waste, which are used in this beautiful blush pink evening dress. What I loved about the collection is that it was very mundane, actually. The models walked with water bottles or with their lunch boxes on the runway. The collection I might not be that much of a fan of. It's not really in my color range or not really my style, but I thought it was a great designer to mention here in this video, because if you haven't followed New York Fashion Week, you definitely need to know this designer anyway. Then when we end up at the letter D, we have the designer Dion Lee, which is one of my favorites at New York Fashion Week. This time the collection was based around a corset. He really worked with a lot of corsets in this pantsuit. I love the use of the corset because it's like sort of built in, and the pantsuit is built around it as well. It's very unique and cool. He also had some very nice flowy dresses in white, black, some yellow as well. Now also the pants were very beautiful in my opinion. He did some more baggy pants combined with knitwear, but also with a leather jacket, which had a very cool look. And then more towards the finale, you had two looks that I absolutely adored, a black look and a white look, both featuring some sort of cardigan jacket type of jacket with lacings and with see-through sleeves. I'm living for see-through always. But this was a very nice item that I haven't really seen before, so it was really something great in my opinion. Another designer I haven't really heard of before doing this coverage is Elie Saab. Also, if I do not pronounce some designers in the good way, please let me know, because I do not know everything about it, of course. In Elie Saab, they also started the show with a great pantsuit. It was a checkered pantsuit, but it had some flowy bits and pieces that really made it cool and both wearable for the office, but also for a great party where you want to make a statement with your clothes. There was another pantsuit in this matte red sequin that looked really cool. And then you had this type of look where he or she, I don't know who the designer is, he did some draping around the neck with the fabric and then made a blouse and a dress out of it. The blouse looks great combined with the more baggy jeans with the red stripe, but also the dress is an amazing piece to have in your collection, I think. It's like sort of a take on this very tacky choker dress that has been going on in fashion for a few seasons now, but done in a very stylish way. Talking about a very stylish clothes, let's go to Helmut Lang. Helmut Lang did such an amazing job. It was a great collection. He really stayed in his color palette, you know, black, white, gray, but there were also some striking red looks. Red seems to be a color that not only appeals to me, but also that has been very trendy for the fall season. What I really loved were the opening looks in silver. There was an awesome faux fur coat that I immediately have to have, but there were also some very tailored pieces, tailored coats mixed with some denim, which looked very cool. Then you again had some see-through in blouses, both for men and women, which looked great in my opinion. I would like to add to my closet immediately. And then you had the finale, which featured some great silver, very flowy dresses and a white pantsuit in satin that I thought looked very good. Moving ahead, of course you cannot not talk about Fashion Week if you don't talk about Marc Jacobs. He really did an amazing show as one of the last shows of New York Fashion Week, as he always does. It had a lot of outerwear in it, lots of coats, lots of very bulky coats. It was all about volume for this season, but for Marc Jacobs in general, honestly. I really love the coats. They are very Marc. He also showed some very nice pastel colors, which for some designers seems to be a trend as well for fall. And then he of course had some beautiful dresses in the collection with these petals that look like feathers, but if you look closely they are not feathers, they are just some sort of organza manipulated in feathers. It was really amazing. I have to say it's not my favorite Marc Jacobs show ever, but it definitely featured some Marc signature styles, and that's really what it's all about. Also, this Fashion Week, I think lots of designers are going back to their roots. As you've seen, lots of logos are changing, people are destroying fashion houses. I'm not calling out anyone, but you know what I mean. So I think that a lot of designers want to fight that by going back to their DNA and really showing like, this is what I'm about, and that's exactly what Marc Jacobs did as well. Another big fish at New York Fashion Week is Michael Kors. This collection was not my favorite. I cannot even say the word favorite, it just didn't do it for me. It was fully based around Studio 54, 70s club culture and people on the streets. To me the collection just was a bit too literal. I mean, specifically the menswear looks were, you know, heavily 70s inspired, almost as if they were walking out of a film set. Also, he had some prints with literally the logo of Studio 54 on it. I was like, great, but where is your input as a designer? There were some great pieces though. He had some big ass shearling coats. He had some great patchwork jackets and beautiful sequin dresses mixed with feathers as well. I really loved those, but there was some knitwear in the show that was kind of questionable to me. But anyway, overall he really showed something that was clear to the audience. But to me the whole look overall looked a bit too literal and too messy. Next up, staying at the O of the alphabet, we have Oscar de la Renta, of course one of the biggest American designers. This collection was very refreshing to me, honestly. The show was opened with lots of great tailoring, beautiful dresses and coats in some heavier fabrics to really show that, hey guys, this is a winter collection, remember. There was a color that was sort of dusty ochre, like sort of a rust color. It's quite difficult to explain, but there were some very nice pantsuits again, and a flowy top with a very structured checkered pant that was a great look in my opinion. Also, the shade burgundy was a shade that really comes through in the collection, both in a beautiful knitted, more streetwear type of look, but also in a very velvety evening dress, a very short cocktail dress, shown in a look with a beautiful knee-length skirt and a white blouse, and that same print used in a strapless dress almost to the ground in this tapestry type of look printed on velvet. I mean, velvet has been there for a while now, but it's still going strong for the fall season. There was a beautiful yellow velvet dress in the Oscar de la Renta collection that is so great, honestly, and also a quilted dress, a green, like a forest green quilted dress, looked very new to me, but still very Oscar. So I think this collection was... Honestly, I haven't really been following Oscar de la Renta for the last seasons, but, you know, really having to see every show now, it really stood out. And I think the designers are doing an amazing job over there. Talking about a great collection, oh my gosh, Praval Garang showed the best collection of New York Fashion Week. I think so, yeah, he really did. It's hard to say that if you've seen all of those shows, but Praval showed menswear and womenswear, but what I thought was very clever was that he used the same fabrics for both genders, which to me made it a gender-neutral collection, because I feel like the men could have worn the women's outfits and vice versa. For example, you could see a very beautiful sweater on a guy with baggy pants, and then one of the next looks was that same fabric but used for women in a pants in a jumpsuit. That looked very cool. Same goes with the houndstooth print that he used for both a menswear look and a women's wear look. I would wear both of them, honestly. They looked so fucking amazing. But actually, the show was a hell of a lot more colorful when it started. He really started with some quilted collars and very bulky jackets, creating a lot of volume as well, of course, with the quilt, but also showing that color looks great in winter, especially when you've seen all of these collections in black and white. I mean, those colors really stand out in the collection, and I specifically also loved a look where he combined army green with yellow, which you wouldn't really think of combining, but in this look it looked very good. Then there was another dress that I really loved, and that was then also shown on a guy in sort of more of a caftan look with pants underneath. Looked really great. And of course he did some of his signature Praval Garang dresses with slits and with some cutouts, but done in a very sophisticated and beautiful way. Staying in the letter P, of course, you have to talk about Proenza Schooler as well. They are still going strong. They are building amazing collections. This one had a very 80s feeling for me, a very power dressing feeling. The show, most of the opening looks consisted of some heavy outerwear with lots of panels in black and beige, but also this mustard type of yellow was shown. So we've seen that in a few collections now, even in this video, not in the whole universe. But I really loved a sweater that had a feather detail in the back. We also had a dress that had that color with it, with pants underneath it. Really, if you look at the details of this collection, you see that it is amazing. This is also a collection you really have to see in motion, because all of the pieces, all of the patchwork, all of the things really move while the model walks, which makes the collection a little bit less stiff. Because if you only see the pictures, you really see the big shoulders, bulky silhouettes, but then when you see it on camera, on video, you see that all the separate pieces actually move, and it creates a less stiff of an angle actually. So this collection again was very close to the DNA of Provenza. They also worked with leather, which they always do, but this time they they did it in dresses that looked amazing, also in the same color, and also a pantsuit again, but with this kind of perfecto type of shape to it. You almost made it to the end of the video. Hold on, there are two more designers that I would want to show you. Next up we have Sis Marianne, or Marjan, I don't know how the New York people call it, this designer, but he has Dutch roots, and he was called an up-and-coming designer, but to me at this point he really made his mark on New York Fashion Week, and he's going to continue doing that. Sis Marianne always works with pastel colors and with very flowy feminine fabrics. He loved to innovate with fabric. Last season he did these beautiful reflective coats and shirts. Now it's still a lot about outerwear. He did some very beautiful pastel colored outfits, some really nice flowy dresses in satin, also in shocking pink again, so that's going to be quite a trendy color as well for the new season. Overall it was just a super amazing collection, very close again to the Sis Marianne DNA, but still showing us something new. Last and least is Tom Ford. Tom Ford is one of the first designers of New York Fashion Week, always, and I always watch his show, I have to say, but this time it was very lackluster to me. If you see one look, this one, the opening look, you've pretty much seen them all. It's pretty much every look consisted of satin, kind of high-waisted, bit baggy pants with a shirt tucked in, open until one of the last buttons, with the scarf draped in a horrendous way with a hat that did not make sense to me. And in the next look he replaces that shirt by a blazer, but it's still the same pants and a turtleneck. Then he replaces the blazer by a leather jacket or by a bomber jacket, or he replaces the jacket with a fur coat. But that's pretty much it for this collection. Really seeing all of the looks after each other, it's like, this is basically one look with the outerwear changed. And to me that's not designing. I'm very sorry, Tom Ford, I respect you, but this just wasn't a collection to me. He did really do some fab evening wear, which we know he can do. It was based around these big chunky chains, but combined with the very flowy fabrics, I think it looked great as a contrast, you know. But again, if you take away those chains, literally nothing exciting is happening anymore. So I'm sorry to end this video with a bit of a bummer, but I cannot be positive about every designer. Some of these are very big in the industry, but they just create sellable clothes, and to me that's not really what fashion is about. So you guys, that was it for my New York Fashion Week recap. Again, as I said in the beginning of the video, if you have any suggestions or feedback or designers that you missed in this video, please let me know down below. I would very much appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel to not miss the future Fashion Week videos, but also the other videos around fashion, gender, makeup and shoes. And leave this video a like, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. I very much enjoyed making it. It was a lot of research for this video, but I've enjoyed every second of it. So I will see you on the next one. Bye!